What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Real Impact. I'm your host, Austin Rice. We got a good one lined up for you guys today, Mr. Jed Wyatt. So let's get going.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
What
So
up,
we got Jed Wyatt with us today. Jed, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
How's it
How are
going?
you? Good, dude. Good. That was an awesome intro.
I appreciate that, man. So,
Sweet.
well, yeah, man. So I'll just kind of start it off and introduce yourself, man. For anybody that doesn't know or,
Cool. Well, my name's Jed Wyatt. I'm also from Sevierville, Tennessee. Austin and I actually, my first job for working for anyone else aside from myself was at Nike with Austin. So
Yeah.
we goofed off there a good bit together. I live in Nashville now, just got engaged. I was on the reality show, The Bachelorette, which was a real riot. And yeah, man, still been chasing music, investing, and I'm a big dreamer, big entrepreneur, and I don't know what else to say. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. For those of you guys that don't know, Jed, singer-songwriter, you just released another one, right?
Did.
Angel
Yep.
on Earth, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me and
First time releasing in 2 years, man. It felt really nice.
yeah.
Got some other ones lined up, been in the studio, been writing, and it's just a matter of getting them out there and exercising all the social media things, all the testing factors. It's a lot easier now than it used to be, I guess, to test a song out because, even when I first moved to Nashville, there wasn't a huge ability to go viral or put yourself out there in a way where other people can use your sound and create things with your sound and stuff. And there's just so much more opportunity now. So I'm starting to exercise that a little bit more and hope to use that on my future releases. So
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, like Jed said, we're actually both from the same, we both grew up in the same place, and everything. So known him for a good little while now. So kind of tell us about your kind of progress, right? Because I mean, we worked at Nike together, and I think you went into personal training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And as long as I've known you, your family's always been super musical, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of go through the progression there from Nike to now.
Well, a lot happened from Nike.
Yeah.
We were 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. Maybe not Nike to now, but maybe the overall progression of everything.
Yeah. I've been an entrepreneurial hustler my whole life. And, I haven't really worked for a ton of people, but I've done a lot of odds and end jobs that have, paid the bills and did what I had to do for that time. So I got a deep appreciation for anyone that's out there hustling and doing what they have to do to get by. And, aside from Nike, there was only probably a few other jobs where I actually did work for someone else, but everything else was, I drove for Uber before. I tried the DoorDash stuff before, personal training, work. I worked for someone doing personal training for a while, but then I did it for myself in Nashville for a long time. And I've always enjoyed the freedom that entrepreneurship offers. It's not easy at all. It's, in fact, I would say much harder than going and punching a clock for someone because you don't always feel like punching your own clock, it's hard to sometimes keep motivated and to have a schedule for yourself. But once you find that groove, it's totally, in my opinion, worth it to have the freedom and control over your life to be I'm doing good now. If I want to get up and go somewhere, I can, and I don't have to ask for anyone's permission to do that, So,
That's awesome.
But, the only reason I've worked these odds and ends though, through the course of time in Nashville was, like I said, to pay bills, to be able to pay for recording music, to be able to, to live life and other things. And, all to chase a dream, because, for me, the dream is still music. That's what I love more than anything. And I did take a 2-year hiatus away from it. And in that time frame, it really like expanded my heart and my mind to the fact that like this is what I really do love, because I don't feel like myself at all since I stepped away from it. And I
Yeah.
think that it can really be healthy for people, because sometimes, you say you love something, but the second that it's gone, that's when you really know. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. Well, if you feel like you're not even living your life at all and you're away from something that you used to be doing, there's a good chance that's your calling or that's your passion, and you got to find a way to get back to it. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Angel on Earth was just the start.
Tip of the iceberg. Yeah. So
Yeah.
kind of what do you think it was that caused the hiatus, right? Was that like a personal thing? Did you mean to do that, or was it just kind of like outside circumstances that forced it, or what?
It was a number of things. I mean, for starts, after the show and everything, I felt pretty depressed, had a ton of anxiety, leaned on drinking a good bit. I honestly went down into a pretty dark hole. And what's kind of crazy about that hole is that's where I met my now fiance, Ellen, which, you kind of expect to not meet someone when you're in a hole, but
Yeah.
it was a good hole.
Yeah.
Everything kind of, I don't know, it got dark for a while. And then if that wasn't enough, then we hit COVID. So it was just kind of like all that, just like the show, feeling kind of down and depressed, stepping away from everything that was me. And then the COVID thing as well. I firmly believe if I wouldn't have met Ellen when I did, like things wouldn't be too good for me. Like I wasn't like by any means like suicidal or anything like that, but I just had dark thoughts that were not me. I knew they weren't me, and I was just fighting them off. It was a lot of battling. So if you're someone, you can learn from my mistake. If you're someone going through something like that, don't be afraid to seek help. Like I had a lot of amazing friends and family that were there for me, and especially Ellen, who showed me like a ton of love during that time. But if you find yourself in a position like that where you're feeling low like that, there's nothing wrong with getting some help. And if you don't have the friends to do it, there are professionals that are happy to step in and give you some help in that position.
Yeah. No, I think that's huge, man. Because I think especially, and this kind of goes out especially to like our male audience, but like especially as men, right? Like there's that weird stigma, right? Where it's we got a burden shoulder. Yeah, we gotta be tough, right? So it's huge, right? Like it is okay to to ask for help, like I can't, and I think too, like a lot of people get confused with help, right? And they think it's bad, but that can come in so many different forms, man. Like it can come in meeting someone, it can come in friends, family, like you said, it can come from a professional, like but yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like you said, like not being scared to ask, right? Because especially as guys, right? Like we're really good at putting on a front, especially when we're used to it, right? Like being in sales, being a performer, right? Like you're used to being able to put on a show.
For sure. I mean, culture. Like I feel like maybe now more than ever, people feel that they can open up about how they feel.
Yeah.
There's also this like stigma with social media and stuff that like, if you're some yoked guy who's, seems to be doing well, that you don't need help or you don't need to ask for help or
everything's going smooth.
It doesn't matter what you look like, but there's just a stigma that's like, as a man, you don't really have to go do that. Like you should just man up, suck it up and take it. But if you find yourself in a position that you're low, that you can't sustain and handle yourself, there's nothing wrong with getting a little help at all.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I think that's huge. I think that's a great message for everybody right now, especially like with the weird times that we're in, right? Like, post COVID, everybody's trying to figure things out. Like I know COVID really kind of shell shocked a lot of people. It did for me, right? That's literally the only reason I'm in real estate full time now, right? Not a lot of people were able to pivot and adjust as fast, So There's a lot of people that, you know, maybe you're in a spot like you were not too long ago. But let's kind of, we'll kind of move on. Because I know before the show, right, you had put out a good bit, like probably what was it, like? I think it was like 3 or 4 songs, maybe.
Probably something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely not as much as I technically should in music, but it was just I was putting out stuff as I could,
Yeah.
like when you're an independent artist, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much goes into a song as far as the finances, the time, finding the right person to bring your song to life, the editing of the song, the artwork, like the writing period, like the whole process is, I think, more than what people perceive. And as an artist, it's super easy to get in your head and you start thinking, what do the people want?
Mm-hmm.
What do the people want? But I don't think there was once that Bob Ross was up there painting and he was like, I bet someone would like a tree right here. It's coming from his soul. Like, this is what I
Right.
would do. And I think as an artist, you got to like stay remembering
True.
that this is your art. Say what you want to say how you feel, and then hope, or at least believe that it's going to, line up with someone else. Like, someone's feeling similar. It helps move them in the right direction, because a lot of times if a song does something for you, there's someone else. Like, we're all more alike than I think we like to admit.
Oh yeah.
And there's a good chance that your song's going to likely
Resonate with somebody.
yeah.
No, I think that's huge, man. I think it just comes back to like staying true to who you are, right?
Yep.
Like, that's even, I mean, because I'll be honest, I don't have an artistic bone in my body, right? But like, even like in business, right? Like, or just, really anything, like staying true to who you are and like what your beliefs are and like what you want out of, your situation, your predicament, whatever, right? I think that message kind of rings true to everybody, like
Definitely.
not trying to cater to, who, what, John Jones across the street may like.
Yeah. Yep.
Or that one person who didn't like the last one.
Yeah.
You got to make sure they like it this time.
Definitely. Yeah. It's
So-
so easy to get caught up in opinions when really the one that matters the most is your own.
Mhm.
And it can sound selfish, but it's not, because ultimately it's your life.
Yeah.
And it's your art, or it's your passion, your time, like whatever it is. Like, there's nothing wrong with making sure it aligns with you first, because if you're not checking that box, then you're probably going to be feeling off or unhappy down the road.
Mhm. Yeah. No, absolutely, man. I think that too many people try to get caught up in like fulfilling everybody else's wants and their
Mhm.
needs and stuff like that,
Definitely.
and you just like neglect yours.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
you said, like you can produce as much music as you want that sounds great to everybody else, but if you don't enjoy it,
Yeah, then what's the point?
it's all for naught,
Yeah. Yep. I think there is a middle ground a little bit on it, especially with like music and stuff. But like I said, if it's like something that resonates with you, it's probably going to resonate with other people, because there are more of us that are, like I said, alike than we like to admit sometimes.
Yeah. So cool, man. Well, let's we'll kind of touch on the show now, right? Because I think a lot of people that kind of know you now, right?
Yeah.
Probably kind of somewhat recognize you from the show.
Yeah.
Probably not everybody, because obviously you got your releasing music. You're in Nashville, so let's kind of touch on that. So
Okay.
you were on The Bachelorette. That was what, 2019?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I thought it was cool as hell. Like, literally, like we're sitting there. My wife never really watches those shows, and then it was funny because it was like me that was like, "Hey, we're gonna watch this season." She's
Yeah.
like, what? I was like, "Yeah, I know that dude."
It was really crazy, man. Like the whole thing, how it came together. I've done a handful of podcasts where I've kind of like gone in and talked about like how everything went down, but maybe maybe you haven't seen them. So for your sake and whoever is listening's sake, I'll go ahead and like break it down. For one, I didn't sign up for the show. I got hit up by and when I say sign up, I mean I wasn't like going on their website like, you know what,
Actively looking.
I'm gonna go try to be on this show.
Yeah.
So their casting people had reached out to me, and I originally said no, and then I thought about it more and more, and I was like, you know what, I think it could be like a really cool adventure, a cool way to put myself out there. I was Googling it, and at the time, the Google definition for The Bachelorette was a reality game show, which, just for everyone listening, not a game show at all. It is a show where a lot of people's feelings get tossed around by production, by just the natural absence of not being able to talk to the people you normally talk to. You're trying to figure out if you like someone that you don't know at all, with sometimes very little time to do so. It's a whole crazy thing, and I still sometimes I'm like, holy crap, that actually happened. It feels like forever ago, kind of at this point. But yeah, I'm thankful for it in a lot of ways. Taught me a lot.
When you guys were there, because like if you guys aren't familiar with the show or lived under a rock for however long, like they travel everywhere.
Yeah.
Like you guys travel to some, I mean, crazy places. So like, what do you think was like probably one of the coolest places that you went to, like on the show?
Dude, I thought Scotland was super sick. And then Greece was just, I mean, just so beautiful. Like you can't beat it. Like Greece was just the coolest place I think that we probably went to be honest. Like,
now when you guys are in those places, did you guys get like free time, like off camera, or was it like super strict, like scheduling of everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's you get like a little bit of adventure time. Yeah, it's not like you don't go off like by yourself. Like, you know, they're like with you, make sure you don't get like kidnapped or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it was cool. We got to adventure around a little bit. It's funny though, because like especially when you're in those like other countries, like they see all this like filming and stuff going on, and they're like have no idea like what it is. Like, is it a movie? Bunch of random dudes smiling through the street. Wow, dude, look at this.
Yeah.
You know,
they're just living their day-to-day normal life
when they're seeing that happen. But yeah, I think Greece would probably be my number one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you guys went all over the place, especially from like what I watched, you know. And how was it like being in that big of a group with that many dudes all trying to like the same like end goal?
Yeah. It's interesting because you're all kind of going through the same experience. So there's like this weird energy of like there's like an alpha energy going on.
Yeah.
But then there's also that just especially, I don't know if like every group is like this, but ours especially just really like got along. So we were all pretty bro-y, like right off the whack. Like, I mean, just supportive of each other. Like, how'd it go? Like, hope it goes great for you. Da, da, da. Like just joking around. Like it didn't feel at the time very like it was weird, but and we all got along so well, so it wasn't as weird as like it probably could be, you know?
Yeah. No, but, I could definitely see how it could get real weird real quick.
Yeah.
So that's good that you know everybody kind of was cool about stuff. And
yeah. I mean,
you're with these people for how long? Like how long was like the total like experience?
Yeah, I think I was gone just shy of 3 months, pretty sure. So, which is crazy because like you don't really, aside from like getting to come home, you don't really get to talk to your family. You don't really get to talk to your friends. And
so they really like isolate you guys for 3 months.
I mean, yeah, like aside from being with the guys and like the producers, so you have like at least some human beings to be around, but like it is like crazy. I will say one thing that I did like love about the whole experience is the unpluggedness, because
being able to disconnect.
No phone like at all. Like you're just like especially after a couple weeks, it's like you almost feel like more awake or something. Like
Yeah.
you're soaking in each moment more and more, which I think that's another reason probably why those shows work. So
Hmm.
you're someone out there looking for love, maybe just put down the damn phone for a little while and go out and hang out with all your friends and just take in people, because I swear that's like part of it out there. I think that's what works, because you have no choice but to like really absorb everyone and everything going on around you, from the beautiful places that you go to the people that you're with, the dates, the whole thing. So
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I couldn't, obviously, like, running a business and everything like that. I couldn't imagine 3 months of just no communication, right?
yeah.
How has that affected, like, once you got back? Have you, like, been more aware of, like, when you are on your phone? And because I think a lot of people struggle with that, like,
It's I would say it's close to impossible to not be super plugged in after that show, because it's just it's just weird, because you go from like what feels like normal you to then you have all this attention from these strangers, good and bad.
yeah,
So you're getting like hundreds of these messages of some things being like, "You're great, I love you, good luck," and then other ones are like, "I hope you die." Like it's just like, and
jeez,
you're not used to that at all.
yeah,
Well, it's kind of hard to step away from it. Like you'll tell yourself, like at least for me, maybe not everyone, but I would be like, okay, I don't want to like look at anything today. But then you start thinking like, what if something happened or someone calls you and they're like, "Hey, did you see that article?" Like, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's hard to peel away. I give like mad props to all like the super like real famous people out there. Like the people that come off this show, like I think some people think that they're more famous than they are, but it's like if you
yeah.
think about like being Justin Bieber or Haley Bieber or like the Kardashians, I cannot imagine how they're able to deal with that level of publicity, fame, and attention. I don't know how they do it, because
Yeah,
it's
I can only imagine.
yeah, it was yeah, I can't imagine for them.
Now, and I don't want to hit on it too hard or anything like that, but like you did, and I don't even want to call it like but like you did pretty good on the show,
Mhm.
and like you made it pretty far,
Yeah,
and so that's kind of where I think like the negativity, right, like you're talking about
yeah,
afterwards, kind of came from.
yeah.
Um, so like, what was it like for you? Like, obviously, we talked about it before. It kind of sent you into a pretty dark place, but like, how were you able to kind of like handle everything?
uh,
And if you want to elaborate on what I'm saying, go for it. But
yeah. I mean, the best things that I did for my mental health in that time were like meditation, like praying, trying to either watch church on YouTube or like go to church, being around people that I loved, and being able to just kind of vent about it. That helped. Um, I would say the worst things that I did was like drinking, like going out, like trying to find like a quick fix for everything that I was feeling, which doesn't work. It doesn't work. You
yeah,
think it does for a second, but it doesn't work. Um, it was hard because I knew deep down that I wasn't wrong. I knew that I wasn't lying, and I'll take it to my grave that I
right.
was not in the wrong for the situation at this point. Like I've had like so much time to reflect. You got to think it's been like almost 4 years now.
Yeah,
Like
it's been a while. Yeah,
I've soaked it all up. Like I know that I wasn't dating Haley, and it is what it is. And if the public or whoever wants to believe it, that's up to them. But I've clearly moved on, lived my life, lived a loyal life, been with my now fiance for going on 3 years next month. Like I have no shame in saying that I wasn't wrong.
yeah,
And it does suck that people's feelings got hurt and there was heartbreak all around. And, I have sympathy for that. But as far as like what the public thought, like at this point, I don't really care, just because I know in
yeah,
my heart, like there's only so much that you can tell people.
yeah.
Like
They're
there's
gonna
only
believe what they
sometimes I can
want
be
to
like,
believe.
I wasn't. I'll take a lie
Yeah,
detector any day of the week. Like I'll do
yeah.
it. I wasn't dating her. She knows it. I
Well,
know.
and it doesn't help headlines either if they come out and say that.
Right.
It
Yeah. I mean,
doesn't help viewership or anything. And you know,
oh no, no. It's all to stir the pot. All to stir the
yeah.
pot. And
Now,
yeah.
and if you can't answer this, that's fine. But with those, like with the show, right?
Mhm.
What would you say percentage wise? How much of it is like real, and then how much of it is like they're kind of like guiding?
I don't think you feel super guided per se. I think that there is some some situations in hindsight that like maybe you just weren't thinking your clearest because you don't have like your normal people around you to be like, hey, that's a little weird. Or
Well, and
like,
also if you're on a free trip to Scotland with this person, like or Greece or whatever, it makes it a little.
yeah, well, I definitely wasn't thinking like that at all, but it was like sometime, well, especially like when I like look back, there's just instances that maybe I wasn't able to be my whole self just because everything else going on. Like I stayed true to myself with how I felt and
Right.
everything, but I think there was instances of like influence, not necessarily like go do this, go do that. You need to do this, you need to do that. I think there was just like encouragement per se.
Right.
But as far as like a percentage of how much of it is like that, I don't think a lot. I mean, I think like I said, it's like pretty much you want to do whatever you can do to have time with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And any ideas that get ran by you, you're like, maybe, yeah, that could work. Because otherwise, you're just chilling around with the bros, eating freaking ice cream or whatever,
Yeah.
making chicken and rice. Like, you know,
I asked
like,
that because I mean, obviously, like majority of people have never kind of been in that situation, right?
mhm,
And so everybody's kind of got their own, ideas. Because I think a lot of reality TV, right, is not necessarily that.
yeah,
So it's good. It's good to know that it's just they're just kind of putting you in the situations, and whatever happens, it's on you, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, so that's kind of obviously how the mass world kind of found out about Jed.
yeah,
um
yeah,
so how have you kind of taken the the bad, right? Because obviously for a while there, and you've kind of went through it and accepted, but like right after the show and for a while, like you were like America's bad guy,
yeah,
like for lack of better ways to look at it.
yeah.
um
Bored
so like,
America's bad guy.
huh?
Bored and lonely America's bad guy.
Yeah,
I think there was a lot of people who were able to see through the bullshit and the
yeah,
lie that was being put out to try to blow up everything. And I think a lot of people rode that wave that,
yep,
just to leverage the publicity. I wasn't like leverage at that point,
yeah,
I wasn't out here trying to like fight for it or anything. I just like fell on the sword,
yeah,
which was a suggestion. And I should have listened to my gut, which was saying, hey, you're not a bad guy. You didn't do this. You haven't cheated
right,
on anyone before.
yeah,
You know when you're in a relationship, say that. And I just like didn't. And
yeah,
you know, it's easy to be like, I should have. But if I did, maybe I wouldn't have met Ellen. Maybe I
right,
wouldn't be engaged right now. Maybe I wouldn't be as happy as I am right now.
yeah.
So I'm I wouldn't change anything, and I definitely don't seek at this point to go change anyone's mind because I'm just like over
You
it.
accepted it, yeah,
But
you moved on.
up to you guys. Like,
Yeah.
you want to believe that, then hey, do it.
Well, and I think all seasons of life, serve a purpose, right? Like
Mhm.
you probably learned a lot about yourself even like during that time,
Oh yeah, so much.
like so I like you said, like I think every season, definitely serves a purpose.
Yeah,
Um, so now we'll kind of dig into, the good, right? You took that, bad, right? And obviously you go into it, you get in your head and you kind of, go into a darker spot. But how did you kind of, and I think obviously, meeting, your fiance during that time period helps, but
yeah,
for yourself, like how did you kind of take that and you're like, you know what, like enough's enough, like I need to get back on my shit,
hmm,
like
yeah.
because like if you guys haven't listened to his music, like dude's talented, right? Like
Thank you,
and
bro.
yeah, I mean like mix of like John Mayer-esque, and I'm not super well versed in music, and whoever else,
If that's all you got, I'll take it, dude.
yeah, it's like that. But so if you guys haven't, like, definitely go check out his stuff. But I think it's really cool too, also, to like hear, because you'll go listen to his music and not really know kind of like the backstory of kind of like where stuff is coming from.
Mhm.
So like, how have you taken like everything you went through like during that like 2-year period and like used it? I don't want to say like to your benefit, right? Because I think that sounds bad, but at the end of the day, like, used it to propel, moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with any situation that, you're put down, you have like two choices. You can either lay there and, you know, essentially rot away, hurt, grieve, and not do anything, and you end up just feeling worse when you do that. So you have no choice but to get up and move forward. And I did my best to do that in the ways that I knew how. But like I said, in that 2-year time frame, it was like lost for me a little bit. Like I just didn't feel as creative. I didn't feel like as motivated for music. I wanted to try other things. Ellen and I, we started like the Fit in 20 thing over COVID, just doing like little plans, which is now bloomed out to where she's doing an app and coached hundreds of women and everything. And it led me to look for other ways to grow, to make money, to feel happy. And I think that, like I said, kind of in the beginning, like I needed that almost 2-year hiatus to realize how much I miss it and love it.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's not a bad thing to step away from something you're questioning, maybe. So, and I was questioning everything. I was like, do I really want to do music at this point? Do I really want to do
Yeah, I can
this?
imagine, man. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was funny though, because it's like the same people, and I could see this like within my DMs. It was
Yeah.
like the same people that would be like, "Oh my god, I love you, I love your music," to then they're like, "You suck, your music sucks. Everything sucks, your vacuum cleaner suck." And I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, I mean, okay, you're
Yeah.
contradicting yourself, but it's like all that like gets in your head if you're reading it constantly. And
Yeah.
I've heard Joe Rogan and a lot of people talk about it, and I firmly believe it now that if you're someone who's having a hard time like putting yourself out there, especially on social media, the post and ghost is the way to go. Like, get out what you want to say, do what you want to do, and then don't give a shit about what anyone else has to say, because
Yeah.
you're fulfilling your heart, and then you start getting that momentum, and then you start to not care more and more, and then you're back.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. It's like similar to music, right? You're not gonna please everybody.
No.
I mean, and if you do, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're doing it something right, you're doing what you believe in, what you're passionate, like, you're not gonna please everybody. And
No.
like, I'm sure you've got some friends now, but like, I've got buddies of mine now that they have huge YouTube channels and they have all this stuff, and same thing, like they have all these people that like love them on this side, but
Yeah.
the stuff that really like they know about is the people, like the few people that like don't like them or disagree with them and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I think that's big too. Like you talked about earlier, like the mental health, like you just got to be like very strong, if you want to put yourself into that position.
Mhm.
And we're getting a call.
It's all good, dude.
But yeah, like you got to be very strong if you're going to put yourself in that position specifically, because there's a lot of negativity, regardless, right?
Yeah,
You
it
don't
doesn't
have to be
matter.
this huge influencer,
Yeah.
level person or anything like that. Even just posting like you talked about on Instagram,
Yep.
you're going to get hate from it.
You are. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter. You can be the best at anything, and there's still going to be people who come at you.
Well, that's like there's the
Wow.
conversation, Kobe or Jordan, LeBron or Jordan, LeBron or Kobe, like those every single one of them are the greatest, right? Like
Mhm.
every single one of them, no argument, are in each of their own respects the greatest to play the sports, right? but you get all these comparisons drawn up and all these, I don't like so and so because of X, Y, Z, and I think at the end of the day, like you said, like being able to just post and ghost, like post it, forget about it, is crazy. Like
Yeah, dude.
it's huge.
I think we need to create like, how there's like pay-per-view fighting and stuff. I think we should have like a pay-per-view fight for these trolls.
The trolls.
Yeah. We'll like line them up, and then they can come see each other face to face, and then they like box it out. Or whoever they're trolling has the option to get to fight them. I don't know. It could be fun.
I could see that going somewhere.
Except it would go really bad in my favor because most of my trolls were like 50 to 60-year-old grandmas. I think it was their first time on Instagram, and they're just ruthless.
Yeah, man. They got nothing else to lose, man.
That's right. I'm like, can you at least drop me that like banana pudding recipe or something?
Dude, and that's another thing too, is I know you're a big pancake guy, right?
Oh yeah.
So did you like spark a partnership with a pancake company now?
I
Or
was just working with one. Yeah, I was just working with one called Flourish, which it's pretty good. It's like healthy pancakes, good protein, and it was just a brief partnership though. They're not per se my dream pancake company.
Do you have a dream pancake? You have a dream pancake company?
I don't know if maybe a specific company that I love, but there are a few places that I've been to in my life that their pancakes are just the best.
I mean, if you guys aren't familiar with like where we grew up, you can drive down a street and every mile you'll see a pancake house.
Yeah, dude.
Like it's
and they've been there. They don't leave. Once they're there, they're there.
Yeah.
They're like 1,000 years, man.
Well, and they're always busy too.
Yeah.
Like they're always busy.
Yeah. They're stay in business forever.
What do you think? What's the best pancake spot in that like Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville area? Let's see where your loyalty lies.
Pancake Pantry.
Okay. Yeah.
Bury me in there.
Yep.
Spread my ashes in there.
Out in Gatlinburg.
Yep. You like that one?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a pancake pantry.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like, all those servers in there, they've been there since like it opened,
Yeah.
Servers are freaking balling in there.
Yeah, they do sponsorships. Just have them ship you out pancakes from there.
Dude, I would just like live in there. I think there'd be a documentary series about me. I was able to be in there as much as I would like to. But
so let's jump into the like outside of the show and music. You had mentioned that you and your now fiance, started the fitness programs and stuff like that. So, what else are you guys doing like outside of music?
Well, we're working on a clothing line, which we have launched. It's called 20 Active. So we recently kind of changed the name. As of now, it's all girls stuff, which we actually, I think it's great because I feel like girls tend to buy more clothes than guys.
Oh, 100%.
I'm still wearing the same shirts you probably saw me wear at Nike back in whatever that was.
I just threw away one of the free pairs of shoes that I got from there.
No.
Yeah.
I still got one too. Got one too, but they're in good shape.
Just threw away one of them. And it was only because like my toe was like poking through. My wife was like, yeah, these are going in the garbage.
So dudes hold on to stuff, man. We might need to start like a beat up clothes line for dudes that's like already still got like a little smell in it and stuff, because that's what guys hold on to for forever, compared to girls who they're like get like 15 pairs of shorts a week and they're like, I need shorts, But so we got girls clothes going on, and we're going to be going to a pretty big event here coming up in November where we're going to have an opportunity to sell some of our stuff. It's Chris Bumstead, C-Bum.
Mm-hmm.
It's an event where he's going to be doing a Q&A. So he'll be there, and we're going to have like a little booth and try to sell some girl stuff there. So that's exciting.
That's awesome.
And aside from that, I'm working on launching it's a boot product. Do you wear cowboy boots by chance? Probably not in Florida.
I can't tell you the last time I wore cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since we moved to Florida,
Yeah.
the weather gets a little too humid for cowboy boots.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's not ideal temperatures down there for the boots, but my product it's called Boot Snake, and it's ready to launch. Like everything's pretty much in line. I just got to get more inventory. But what it does is, do you know how like when guys wear cowboy boots with like slimmer pants and you just see the whole boot down at the bottom and it looks
Oh yeah.
it looks like kind of whack.
Well,
it's
then
like
you get that little that bulge at the bottom.
Yeah. Yep. So my product goes around that, no bulge.
Nice.
And yeah. Yep. So that's coming out very soon. And I feel like it's a great time for that because, especially after going to the UT game, I noticed a lot of the boys be wearing some boots these days. So,
Oh yeah.
even when they got to walk 1,000 miles with a freaking goalpost, these boys are in boots, which is good. But I'm noticing these boots are looking whack because they're bulging out at the bottom. So
yeah.
I'm aiming to be the solution to that problem and kind
He's
of
gonna be that boot bulge guy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But
awesome.
And aside from those two things, we're trying to get into real estate, man. We're pretty new to that whole thing, but we're looking to do we want to either get like an Airbnb kind of thing going on or some sort of a flip up around this area. So,
okay. Are you looking for the obviously, if you guys don't know where Sevierville is, where we grew up, that's like Airbnb short-term rental heaven, right in the heart of the Smoky Mountains and stuff like that. So you're in two like super good Airbnb markets. You're from Sevierville, Gallenberg, Pigeon Forge area, and then you're in Nashville, right? So have you guys kind of honed in on which one, or are you just kind of like shopping opportunities in both?
We've definitely been kind of shopping opportunities at both. We've looked at a couple properties in Nashville, but I feel that this area is still just better. Like Nashville's great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you can get something downtown for what you're going to pay there versus here. And then the amount of visitors that are, Nashville's always, getting hit on the weekends and stuff. But if you think about like good example, COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Nashville pretty much shut down. I came back here for COVID. These cabins it looked like it was still freaking, people are still renting. So this is I think what we're aiming to be here, unless God has a totally other plan for it all. Praying about it, hoping we make the right choice. But I think if all goes right, I think we'll be doing stuff here.
Yeah, I think that's smart, man. Because I think Nashville, you also deal with the primary market in Nashville is parties, right? Like bachelorette parties and things like that. So I think you'll definitely have a little less wear and tear, if you stick to the family oriented, areas.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome though, man.
For sure. I would love to do a property in Florida someday too, because I love Florida.
Yeah.
It's great. The weather. I get it now, people be like having a house here and a house there and be bouncing back and forth because I was like, it's like great up here, but that Florida weather, man, it's nice.
Come down here when allergy season kicks in up there.
Oh, dude, I bet. Pretty nice.
Huh? Yeah, it's not as bad. Not near as bad.
That's good. Nashville is terrible. I don't know if you knew that, but it's like kind of sits down in the bowl of Tennessee per se.
Yeah.
So a lot of the pollen settles there, which is funny. That's where they decided to put the Music City. So everyone who sings is getting like stuffed up. It's crazy. And that's got to be like the Flonase capital, dude. I bet.
Oh yeah.
So many artists are using that stuff, man.
So how is it now? Being full time in Nashville and everything. How is that? Obviously Nashville's I don't want to say it's country music, right? It's country music capital of the world, right? So how is it being there, especially like as an independent artist? What's that like?
I really believe that you won't find a more supportive place
That's awesome.
I feel like a lot of artists are very much out to help each other. You would think it'd be like a little bit more competitive, but it's like there's a lot of love there, especially amongst like once you kind of have like your set group. Like there's like a, I don't know, there's like good core values and really solid people there, and it's it's an interesting place because you'll like, you know, with it being Music City, you'll never meet so many dang musicians in your life. Everyone's doing something with music, it seems like, and if you happen to meet someone that's not, it's usually medical. And
Yeah.
But it's a great place. We actually live. I spent like 6 years living in more of like the Nashville area, like downtown and also West Nashville. But we're actually in Franklin now, which is 30 minutes south of the city, and a lot more family oriented. I think the average home income there is about 190 something, and so it's very safe.
Yeah.
Baller family vibe.
You're not in the middle of the party scene anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. It's nice.
You got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. I paid my dues there. Ellen paid her dues in Miami, and now we're in Familyville. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
not bad though. I like it.
So now, when you guys met, you lived in Nashville. She lived in Miami.
Yep.
Woo.
Yep. We did long distance, man, and it was good. It was like a hard time for us, but at the same time, it was like kind of exciting to be able to like take a trip, especially to Florida.
Yeah.
Going to the beach, little 1.5 hour flight to go see Ellen Decker. And I was like always so excited. I would get down there, and it felt like even if I was there for a week, it felt like it was like one day. Yeah. You know how it is, especially when
never long enough. Yeah.
Like that. It's like every second just like flies by, it feels like. But
we
did that for a while, and COVID was actually how we ended up moving in together, because I'd read that, you know, a lot of the places in Florida were going to shut down pretty heavy where she was in Miami, especially with like the big apartments and condos and stuff. And I was like, well, Nashville's going to shut down too. I was like, we should just go to East Tennessee. So she was down and made the flight up. We linked up, packed up our things, immediately got COVID and came to East Tennessee. We literally did. As soon as we went to leave, we were like, oh God.
That's funny.
But
now, how did you guys meet?
So a guy that I played baseball with here, his roommate at the time set us up. So
nice.
I was like going through the period of time after the show where I was just being a wild hooligan boy, and I was just not ready to meet anybody. And I was like, this is the period of me doing everything that I shouldn't be doing to try to feel better with everything going on. And she, after he showed me some photos of her and told me about her, and I was like, dang, she is beautiful. Like, I gotta at least try. And he just kept putting it in my ear. He's like, you gotta meet Ellen. You gotta meet Ellen. So she came and visited once, and we both had our guards up just from she'd been through a lot. I'd been through a lot. We were both just kind of at an arm's distance, but definitely liking each other. And then once I went and visited her in Florida, I was done. That was it for me. I was just like,
game, set, match right there. Yeah.
Yep. My soul left my body and went into the hands of Ellen Decker. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, we're wrapping up here. We're at the 50-minute mark. So we just want to, kind of preempt you real quick with, one thing you want to leave everybody with, one, piece of advice or, anything you want to kind of leave everybody with. Guys, I appreciate you guys, watching, listening. Hopefully you guys got some good value, out of, mine and Jed's conversation today. Be sure you guys also tune in on Thursday, and then we've got another live one for you guys next Monday. But Jed, what is, what's one thing you want to kind of leave everybody with?
I would say two things. If you're ever in this area, try Pancake Pantry. And then
I'll second that
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then my second would be, if you're down, get back up and find yourself, and everything will fall into place.
No, I love that, man.
Get
That's
back
awesome.
to you. There's nothing wrong with it. Be a little selfish. Get back to yourself, because it's going to make the relationships for everyone else better. So
Perfect. You guys heard it here first. Jed, I appreciate you, man.
course, man.
Appreciate you hopping on.
Great to see
Guys.
you.
Yeah, you too. Guys, that's it for today. Peace.
Peace.